This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And as you can see, we are also starting off this podcast with our Patron. If you're watching live on twitch.tv/MostValuable or if you are on YouTube, you can check out patreon.com/MostValuable. Our guy John is at that gold tier. John is joining us because we're going to pick apart his mock draft. All of us have it. We've all have gone down it, and we have all looked at his player rankings, some shocking things, and we're going to go through it and pick it apart. John, how you doing?
Doing well. Greetings and salutations. Let me apologize because the NFL draft is going on. We got 2 picks coming up, but let's go.
I gotta ask you before we get to 145. What do you think about Jalen Hurts at 53 then?
2 things. I think it was a arrogant and risky pick.
Yeah, I thought it was very weird.
It's hard. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They did win a Super Bowl shortly. A couple years ago, but and they did it with a backup quarterback, so maybe they learned from that. Risky meaning they could have gotten better talent at a position that's going to play this year, next year, rather than sit the bench and if Carson Wentz gets injured, he can or season. But they're kind of making up for it. I like the 3rd and 4th round pick. Those 2 picks. So if they do well, these next 2 picks, they kind of balance it out. But obviously, my brother fans and my sister fans, we have our opinions, and they were expressed really strongly this morning and last night.
Yeah, so, the last thing I'm going to expect Philly fans to be is quiet, even if they're happy.
Well, he's not. He's not a reach.
No, he wasn't a reach.
Right.
I loved him. He was my 3rd quarterback in this draft. I just found it weird because, out of all the teams, it was the Packers and Eagles that I didn't think would be taking quarterbacks, and they're out here taking 1st round and 2nd round quarterbacks. So that was a little bit shocking.
Plans, man. Everybody's got to have
it worked out for the Packers in the past, so
It's true. All right. Well, let's jump into picking apart your mock draft. I'll go through it, and then we're going to start with Dave because I know he's got some thoughts too. I got some thoughts. Ricky's got some thoughts as well. I believe John did not flip this because it looks like the typical stock order. So we got the Warriors taking James Wiseman at 1. At 2, we got the Cavs taking LaMelo Ball. At 3, we got the Wolves taking Anthony Edwards. At 4, we got the Hawks taking Obi Toppin. I think autocorrect fixed that from Toppin to Topic. The Detroit Pistons taking Killian Hayes. New York Knicks taking Devin Vassell. The Bulls taking Denny Avdia. The Hornets taking Onyeka Okongwu. The Wizards taking my guy Patrick Williams. The Suns taking RJ Hampton. The Spurs taking Jalen McDaniels. Now that is it Jaden McDaniels? Now that I don't have the full name on my draft,
the struggle's real.
If it was his brother or not. They got to call him.
Name. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, I didn't call him Lonzo Ball. We got the Kings taking Isaac Okoro. Pelicans taking Aaron Nesmith. We got the Blazers taking Saddiq Bey. The Magic taking Cole Anthony. The Wolves taking Precious Achiuwa. The Celtics taking Tyrese Halliburton. The Mavs taking, believe that's Jalen Green. Yeah,
that's it.
No, it's Josh Green.
Josh Green.
Oh.
Bucks taking Isaiah Stewart. Nets taking Tyrese Maxey. The Nuggets taking Paul Reed. Sixers taking Jordan Nwora. The Heat taking Kira Lewis Jr. The Jazz taking Alexei Pokusevsky. The Thunder taking Reggie Perry. The Celtics taking Vernon Carey. The Knicks taking Theo Maledon. The Raptors taking Daniel Oturu. The Lakers taking my guy Ayo Dosunmu. And then the Celtics taking Leandro Bolmaro. All right, John. When you look at this draft, did I mess anything up first? Or was that your 1 through 30?
No, that's it. Currently.
All right.
Currently.
The biggest thing that sticks out to me, and we'll start with the Knicks, them taking Devin Vassell at 6. That's the highest I've seen Vassell. Why do you like Vassell up that high for the Knicks at 6?
There's nothing not to. He's tall, he's long, he's athletic. And Leonard Hamilton down there in Florida State is doing a great thing because he is implementing this defense turns to offense. And like Vassell and Patrick Williams, they're the key. There's a steal, there's a block, they're pushing the ball on the fast break. Vassell can do the wing. In the half court, the shooting percentage isn't great, but he has a high release point. It's not too bad. It looks like after a couple years he can become a knockdown 3-pointer. He shoots over people. He's not one of these like pretty little like stand in the corner catch and shoot shooters. He's in the game. He will rebound. He likes to put back offensive rebounds. His energy is good. Everything about him. Just you look at these highlights and try to watch a little bit of a game, and you compare him to who else you see. I don't see these other guards being better than he is. Just maybe Ball and Edwards, but I'm really high on RJ Hampton, but Vassell, he's executing the skills a little better earlier than Hampton is right now.
The one question I have to ask for Vassell, and then Ricky and Dave could take it after me. With Vassell, I've always seen him as a very low floor guy, but you're kind of talking him as a higher ceiling guy. Do you see him as a higher ceiling as well, or do you think he's just more advanced than guys like RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, the guys in the guards, a little bit behind him? Where do you see his ceiling and floor right now? Devin Vassell, that is.
Yep.
Yep.
John?
Yeah, John, where do you see his ceiling and floor? Devin Vassell. My bad. I should have directed that. That's my bad.
I love how it's like, oh, wait, did we lose John?
The
Can I
Eagles
hear
just
us?
picked. What's his floor?
Yeah, no. So I was saying like
a player comp, or you want stats?
Well, more of, do you see, compared to the other guards in this draft, like Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton specifically, the guys that are a little bit behind him, do you see him as a guy? Because I see Devin Vassell as a guy with a higher floor and maybe a little bit less of a lower ceiling. Do you see him as a guy that could possibly be a higher ceiling player that could be a number 2 option or a 1 option on a team?
There are two sides of basketball, right? Offense and defense. For me, I think he's probably one of the top tier. He's probably one of the best defenders at the 2 guard spot in the draft. So for me, thinking about that, his ceiling is higher than most people who don't think about it. I think yes, he has a very high ceiling because he's executing a lot of the things he does well. RJ Hampton can probably be a better player. I think Cole Anthony, he plays a more important position. If he learns how to run a team, along with his scoring ability, I mean, he could be the best. The Knicks, they need a point guard, no question. But I just think Vassell is the better prospect.
Yeah, I agree with you on that fact. It comes down to BPA a lot of the time, and I feel like the Knicks need to hit here, and I feel like he's one of those guys who's not going to disappoint at the NBA level. Like, he has all the physical tools. He can come in defensively above average for his position, and he's able to contribute right away with that knockdown shot from the outside. So, like, baseline, he comes in as a great role player, and then I still do see like high floor, high ceiling with him. I think worst case scenario, you end up like with a worse version of a Danny Green. Best case scenario, you have one of the best 2-way wings in the NBA. So I'm super high on Devin Vassell, and I'm glad you had him this high because I've been like inching him higher and higher in my own mocks, and I'm like, it's nice to see other people see the same thing.
I think Vassell, Saddiq Bey, and Patrick Williams, these are like the golden crop of the first round. We're like, where are they going to go? These guys have high ceilings, and I just push mine up. It's like, I play games. You got the top 3 players, you got a big. Who's the next best player? Forget the other mocks. Just on tape, who stands out the most?
Yeah,
I think Vassell and Patrick Williams are it.
I agree. I wonder, do you think that Florida State team, like, both of them are so high because they're getting to play together? Is it kind of that Zion RJ Barrett syndrome where had they been on separate teams, we wouldn't see them be able to elevate each other up on a lot of mock draft boards? Because I just feel like they play so well together and within that system that I do have that little bit of concern in the back of my head that's like, all right, I know what I'm seeing is a great like raw prospect out of them, but at the same time, like, how much of this is contributed to the level or the high quality of players around them?
I think they play fast, and to play fast and not turn the ball over, you have to be a pretty smart player. You have to be under control with fast. You're under control and with a high pace. I think that's key. It's not a lot of players can do that. Look at the Sixers. They get high pace, they turn the ball over.
True.
Yeah,
It is what it is. It just when they can play like up and down playground basketball, and I think that demonstrates they're just quick thinkers.
Here's the little problem that I have with it is the team. With the Knicks, I feel like they're a team that this year because we've mocked point guard, and it's all we've talked about with the Knicks. Maybe it's because of how loaded this draft is with point guards, with how many of there are there. Obviously you don't think the Knicks have to take a point guard because you didn't. But is that going to be the smartest decision for the Knicks to not take a point guard when looking at next year, in the draft, I'm seeing more 2s and 3s, especially like Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, who's going to be at Oklahoma State, Clark and B.J. Boston, who are both at Kentucky. Should the Knicks be thinking about that and go, hey, let's go to point guard here because next year we're basically going to be then in the situation the Cavs are in, where we're taking then 2 guys that play the same position or maybe fit the same role on a team?
I think there's a lot of point guard depth. I think that after Ball, Hayes, and maybe Anthony, teams are going to say, if I have a high pick in the second round for a low pick in the first one, I can go get a BPA now and then get a point guard later. I think the Knicks are going to come out of this with 1 or 2 point guards.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they need to go because I think that it's risky playing at Madison Square Garden because you can't make it, and given the recent history, well, not so recent, 15, 20-year history of the Knicks not doing so well,
Yeah.
The fans going to get more rambunctious. I think that they go BPA and definitely take point guard with their next.
Well, you
All right,
mentioned the whole, Knicks point guard thing. One point guard who you had fallen far away in my mind is Tyrese Halliburton. You have him going pretty late in this mock draft. I think a lot of people are putting him in their, 4 through 8 range, and you've got him falling a bit. What do you see in Halliburton that you don't like, or is it just other guys have impressed you much more than him, and we're overvaluing, what he did in his second year of college?
Halliburton never impressed me via lottery. I watched a lot of his games last year because I was trying to check out Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah.
On a segment a little while ago. But he has talent. I think he's light. I mean, everybody's like, oh, he's going to turn into an SGA. That's pretty good hype, pretty good hope, but
yeah,
I think he's a talent, but I don't think he's a lottery. He has the height for it. People, they get intoxicated by the height, but he doesn't have the weight. His form is like Bill Cartwright type. So,
dang, okay.
They might try to fix that, and the percentage might not be as high.
Yeah, that's one of those concerns. I wonder, we all when we bring up Halliburton's shot, it's never pretty, but it goes in, at a very good rate. And like you said, if they try to fix shots, we've seen guys come into the league with, decent rates, and then with a shitty looking shot, they try to fix their shot. And in some case, in the most extreme case, we have your own Philadelphia 76er, former Markelle Fultz. In other cases, you see Lonzo.
It was an injury.
I'm just saying.
Lonzo would be the janky shot.
That's what I was going to say. Like Lonzo Ball, someone who had a janky shot.
Lonzo started to knock it down.
3 years, 3 years into the league now, and he hit consistency right before we had to end the NBA season for who knows how long. So like it's not a quick turnaround where you can fix a shot overnight. But I do agree, it's so easy to fall in love with his size and his wingspan. Like being 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan is insane. Unfortunately, I think he weighs like $170, $190. Like he definitely needs to put on muscle. And again, what does muscle do? It fucks with your shot.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing for me is I recognize the physicality of the game. And for me to be a lottery pick, I think you have to be a player to put your nose in the middle of everybody. In the paint. You get in there, throw some elbows, take some elbows. I don't see Halliburton in a crowd of people.
Yeah, and
he might like to avoid contact.
Yeah, and John, I just gotta let you know, you guys did take a tackle, Jack Driscoll, and then you traded a pick with the Cowboys. So I don't know how you feel making deals with the Cowboys, but their pick is in too.
We've been making deals with the Cowboys for a long.
The Halliburton thing is interesting because, yeah, I mean, he's 175, 6'5", though, and you talk about the shot, Dave, him being off a little bit. And another positive to him is his defense. But, John, I want to ask you, I mean, because you're big on the defensive side. When you look at a guy that small at 175 playing the point, do you worry about his size? Let's say he doesn't grow, right? Do you worry about his ability to go up against these NBA guards and actually be a decent defender? Because I feel like I keep overlooking his size. I feel like it's not an issue because I keep seeing the height. But the 175, he is rail thin. So are you worried at least about his size, Halliburton, when it goes to the defensive side of the ball?
I think defense has a lot to do with heart. I think that Halliburton, I mean, he has a lot of heart, but I don't think he has the tolerance for a lot of contact. The game being more physical, the guys being for me, I mean, you could be a light player as long as you're willing to with that wingspan, he should be able to, play the passing lanes, pick some point guards on ball, take some cookies, and also be a deterrent to some passes into the post. Even block a couple of shots. If hopefully I'm wrong. I don't want every player to reach their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'm wrong, but if he decides he wants to stick his nose in there, I think could be a great defender. I just haven't seen it in college.
So Ricky, we've seen obviously, we talked about Halliburton, we talked about Vassell. What pick from John's mock stood out to you that you want to talk about?
Well, the one that stood out to me was the Hawks, Obi Toppin, because the thing and I'm going to try to go into the mind of John here. Are you making this pick because you think that they're not going to want to pay John Collins? Is that what's going on here? Or is this just hey, you know what? This is my BPA on the board and Toppin's going to be really good because he's a player we've talked about. How's the age going to be a factor? Oldest player in this draft. Might not have as much time as the other kids to kind of grow. Might need to hey, because of your age, you got to produce sooner. What was going through your mind when you took Toppin with the Hawks?
So at 4, my BPA is Hayes. I mean, because John Collins is in discussion, there has to be something. If you look at the Hawks lineup, they're pretty much solid at every position. So it was really about depth. So it's point guard depth or power forward depth.
Mm-hmm.
Because John Collins is a conversation, I'm not in Atlanta. I don't, I'm not going into the details, but because there's something there, if there's a conversation about it, and on the safe side, I'd go Toppin, just in case there's something. He was suspended a bunch of games last year. If that happens again, he may be suspended for twice as many games.
True.
So just shore it up, and I don't know if. And who wants to take Trae Young off the court?
No,
true.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm from a city that Allen Iverson decided to play 48 minutes. He played 48 minutes. Nobody's going to say. I mean, Larry Brown brought him on the bench, but it is what it is. But it's for me, it's value in minutes. Toppin or Hayes on the Hawks. I think Toppin plays more minutes than Hayes. So.
What do you when we look at Toppin, because we obviously see the athleticism, we see the length, but there is the issue that he is 22 years old, and then also people are very concerned about his defense. When you look at Toppin, what defines him as a player in your mind? What defines him as a top 5 pick? What's the biggest thing about his game that really steps out to you and say, all right, this guy is worth jumping over BPA even to take Killian Hayes? Obviously, Trae Young plays into a factor there, but at least the player himself. Why is Obi Toppin, in your mind, worth a top 5 pick?
Because of his athleticism. Basketball, as skillful it is, it's still a sport. He has good size, great wingspan, jump. He has great timing. So he's dependent upon a playmaker. Hawks have a playmaker.
True.
So it's like, the in and out. Trae Young, he's a big threat. Outside the 3-point line, Toppin, stand there in dunker spot. He can learn from the best dunkers in the league. What's the guy they got from Houston?
Capella.
Yeah.
Capella, Capella teach him a couple of, insights or tricks. This is where you stand. This is the time. This is how it goes. I mean, Toppin already has it. Toppin, his probably jump out the gym higher than Capella. So I think it's simple. Like, and inside, for me, people talk, a lot of basketball analysts and people on like podcasts, they're all talking about spreading the floor. For me, you can't spread the floor optimally unless you have someone in the paint. You can't have 5 guys around the 3-point line. No, you have to 4, and then somebody has to be in the. For me, somebody in the. So I think he works better.
Because you got to have someone in case they spread it out too far.
But he's to your question, he's a top 5 pick in this draft.
Yeah.
All right. The other guy I have to ask you a question about, and we'll bring it back home to you. You're wearing the Philly shirt.
You're saying pick apart my draft. Of course you're going to pick somebody that's a good pick, right? Or we're just picking all my bad picks.
I thought I picked a good pick.
You pick bad picks. I like your picks. And here, I'll give you one right here. We're gonna bring it back home. You're wearing the Philly shirt. One pick that I love. I think people have them probably a little bit outside, like in a big board, a little outside the top 20. But I don't think this pick is a reach at all, especially for their needs. You look at the Portland pick at 14. You got your guy Saddiq Bey. Bring it back to Nova. Bring it back to Philly. What do you like about Saddiq? You've been the first guy on him for a while now. I think even back till October since we've been talking to him. You've probably been on him even before then, just being a Philly guy. So, but Saddiq Bey, why does he fit so well with the Blazers? Because I think it's a great fit.
In this league, he's a wing. He's a shooter. Now, I don't think he sticks his nose in the offense as much as he could. But hopefully he develops. I think that you can't go wrong. If you look at the Trailblazers lineup, they're pretty deep team. Nurkic is coming back. They have one of the best backcourts in the league. You had some injuries at the wing. I think that you spread the floor out even more. Nurkic can be in the middle. You have Dame on outside. You have what's the 2 guards?
CJ,
only have to call him outside. Bay. I mean, what can go wrong? What can go wrong with a 45% 3-point shooter coming out of college? Who's athletic?
Is that the most impressive thing about Bey in your mind? Is the blend of athleticism and then shooting from the outside?
That's the most important thing about any player.
I was gonna say.
Well, but I'm just wondering, like, because
there's no better skill. Because the thing is, basketball, you got to put the ball in the hoop, right? You either go 1, 2, or 3 points.
Thanks, John Madden.
Right?
Oh, I love it.
So he's shooting 3 at 45%. There's nothing else. It beats Wiseman at center position.
I know that
everything out.
I know that he's got great defensive skills as well. So I don't know if you're higher on his defensive skills even than his offense, because you even mentioned the thing that he should be more involved into the offense that you believe, even at Villanova. I mean, was that an issue that
Klay Thompson danced around the 3-point line, I mean, Aaron Nesmith is like that, but just hopefully they develop a little better,
All right, Dave or Ricky, you got another pick for John, whether it be positive or negative. He doesn't want to be us picking all the bad picks. I don't think there was any bad picks.
I don't mind, but people watching this or listeners might want to hear some positivity.
I got a couple of things here. I love the way you ended your first round with rhymes. Going Perry to Carey, Maladon, and then Oturu to Dosumu. Like that was nice. Giving you credit for that. The Knicks taking another French guard. I don't know if they literally had the balls to do that after the brutal feedback and the
So you
struggles
think they
that
might
Frank's
go
gone
looking
through.
at looking at my draft? You think they go Mannion?
I don't know. I personally don't like Nico Mannion at all.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I'm totally cool with the pick. I think as far as an organization's concerned, it's just an interesting idea of like, do you think they would shy away from another European prospect because of the development time with Frank? You know, as much as I love the kid and I think he's still a defensive monster out there, like, you know, I know they've eaten a lot of feedback publicly from the media, from the fans about him. So it was just like, do you think they would go back to that well? Like, I think Theo Maladon's got talent. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, I don't know if they're going to do it because of that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: we do these mock drafts. In mine, I don't put trades in.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks have draft capital. You know, they have one of the top picks in the second round. I think it looks like number 6 or 7. You know, they might can move up. You know, but
Yeah.
do they take another French guard? I think so, because I think Maladon is more of a playmaker. Now, do they take a French guard who's an athlete? You know, not so much of a playmaker. No, I think Maladon. He has the potential to be somewhat of a floor general, even though I think that term should be used very lightly.
Yeah. And then the other point I want to bring up was the fact that you had 2 bigs going at the back half of your first round. A name that we haven't seen in a long time in Vernon Carey, who I think to a lot of people, his college production is raising a lot of questions as far as how come more people don't have him higher in mock drafts. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think that Carey doesn't have a huge ceiling. I think that he's a center, big kid. I think if you're out of lottery and you're trying to select the starter, then you have. But I think those teams like the Celtics, who are above 500, who get into the second playoff, they need role players. And right now, the Celtics have a bunch of 6'8" and a half. I think you get a big boy, just run with it. Like, because it's about matchups. They got to come to Philly at some point, you know.
Philly's out there rolling 4 starting centers.
Yeah, so I think it's the Celtics. So, I mean, they have a few picks and they're a very talented team, so they can plug some holes or they can do some reaches. So I think Carey is on their board.
Nice.
They're likely to get him because there are a few other teams that would.
Ricky, you got any other pick for John? I got one more, but we'll wrap up with mine.
The only one I have is, before I say it, Lewis to the Heat. That's Kira Lewis Jr., right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I'm in the same boat with you because
I wasn't about him. It was about other point guards, but I just wanted to make sure that was
okay. Well, no,
Kira.
go with the other point guards then,
okay.
Because I got Kira a question.
Yeah, mine is like, I'm gonna harp on the point guards. Like, I think Trey Jones is a first-round pick. I think Nico Mannion is a first-round pick. I think both of them are. Maybe they're because of needs. I actually have both of those higher than Theo Maladon. What's your thought process of both Nico Mannion and Trey Jones being seconds? I could see Trey Jones because he's not that point guard that's going to like put the team on his back, light it up. He's more that complementary piece. I'm going to be the glue to kind of bring guys together. But Nico Mannion, I see with me, is it like top tier, like number 1, number 2 pick explosion? No. But I like what he brings to a team, especially offensively. What's going through your mind having Mannion go in the second round in your mock and not the first round?
Well, it's very easy. There's all this hype around Mannion. I haven't seen him, so I think it was a Saturday night. I turned on the game. Arizona versus Oregon has his point guard named Pritchard.
Mm-hmm. Shoots the ball
To
really well.
Pritchard ripped him 38. For me, it was the best performance of a college basketball player I've seen last season.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Mannion, he had a couple of deep threes. to me, is like he's one of those guys who brings the ball up the court without any pressure, initiates the offense. I think he could do that well. But as far as like being a floor general or just stick your nose in. As far as an NBA player, as far as contact is going, I don't think Nico Mannion. The reason why I have Maledon higher than Mannion and Jones is because for me, Maledon has starting. I don't think Jones has starting potential, and I don't think starting. Now, today, both those Maledon is not as good as Jones, not as good as Mannion. But for me, I'm big on potential, and I don't expect my rookies to be like, day one starters. And I need 16 points out of you. I need a 3-to-1 turnover to, assist to turnover ratio. I don't need 9 rebounds out of you. I think it's developmental, and I think starting like 3 or 4 years ago, many young players are getting these developmental instructors, and they're becoming better players. I think Maledon comes over here and he develops. He has potential to start in these other guys. But I wouldn't pick Mannion over Pritchard.
Also, I have to throw out my love for thank you for having Ayo go in the first round. I like it.
So let me say this on a positive note.
He's legit.
No, I keep saying like guys who like will stick their nose in it.
Mm-hmm. Ayo will.
The sumo will stick his nose in it.
Yeah, he will.
Well, I don't know if you have time, but Sean, you can go back to last year. Maybe we do this. Maybe next time I'm on, you verify this, or maybe in the chat. You go to your Twitter. What's the DM? What's the thing? Tech thing?
Yeah, DMs. Yeah.
I'm older than you guys. You guys know. But it's direct message.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you about Ayo a long time ago. So he was on my radar for a while. But I think for the Lakers, they need another playmaker. So they need a point guard. They need someone who can defend. I think for anybody who's making a championship run, they're looking for a two-way player. They need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a point guard who's a two-way player. Understand you have Jones out there. Ayo's a little bigger. I think the mentality that DeSumo, I think for real, I think that LeBron watches college games a lot. I think he looks at DeSumo like, I want that guy. For me, if I want somebody to be a secondary playmaker or a backup point guard, I want DeSumo. From all the guards in here, he reminds me of Drew Holiday. I think he's willing to take the shot. He's willing to take the big shot.
No,
maybe I should have DeSumo a little higher, but it doesn't look like DeSumo can be the primary floor general for a team. I think he does best for lesser minutes and lesser responsibility. And once in a while, they tell him, call game, hit the last shot, make the last steal, make the last block of the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love him. I know Dave doesn't want me to talk about him because I talk about him every damn week. But no, I agree with you that he is a little bit iffy when it comes to initiating. And that might be one thing with the Lakers that I'm a little iffy about. I think maybe they might look for more of a floor general just because when LeBron's off, they do have struggle moving the ball. But I think Ayo as a prospect, at some point, he will find that because he did have, I mean, he's got great handles. He's a pretty decent passer. He's got nice length. I think he's a great pick for the Lakers because I don't think he'd be afraid to step into that type of situation. I think he's a perfect fit for the Lakers. The two other guys I want to ask
you know why else he's a good pick. Last thing, Sean, has nothing to do with his basketball ability. Guess what day his birthday is?
I don't know.
Same day as mine, same day as D Wade. So I mean, he's in good company.
That's great company. And I do want to clarify. I don't hate him. I just think that I've hit that boiling point of like
you're just
annoyed by it. You're annoyed that we brought it up so much.
I can't even stand him anymore. But I think he'll be a good player. But yeah.
All right, the two other guys I have to ask you about, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll have some final thoughts. There's two SEC guys that I want to get your thoughts on. I love Kira Lewis Jr. He's moving up my boards, and I think that him on the Heat would be disgusting. I think that he could be an absolute stud on the Heat. And then the other guy I want to ask you about is Reggie Perry. You have him going to the Thunder out of Mississippi State. You had Terrence Davis last year.
You exposed to my reach.
But here's the thing. I don't know if they're.
You found it.
I don't want to call
Sean
it a
wins the
reach.
podcast.
I don't want to call it a reach though, because John was on Terrence Davis last year.
Mhm.
He's an Ole Miss guy, and Terrence Davis looks stupid good coming out of Ole Miss and playing for the Raptors. You were on Quindary Weatherspoon. You like your SEC guys. I mean, you are a Pitt guy, right? You're a Pitt Panther guy. You're probably more of a Big East guy or former Big East guy, an ACC
right now.
guy. Yeah, ACC guy. But you watch SEC basketball, and I know you watch Kira Lewis a ton. I know you watch Reggie Perry a ton. What stands out about these two players for you? And whether it be with the fit, with the Heat and the Thunder, or whether it just be them as sole prospects, you could start with Kira.
I think with Kira, I think that point guard, they're looking at point guard, maybe power forward. They have Bam, they have Jimmy. You guys got to help me out because I'm the old guy. Who's the European backup point guard they have?
Oh, Dragan.
Goran Dragic.
I'm a huge Dragan fan. Huge.
Yep.
As far as sticking your nose in there, Dragan sticks his nose in there. He's
Dude,
no
that man
punk.
backs down from no blood.
He initiates. He gets on people's nerves. They know when he comes in, it's about to be a little mix-up. And he can score. He can shoot. I mean, his three-point average is not high, but when the drilling goes up, we're macho, man on man. He'll shoot and he'll knock it down. You come out there, he's gonna go to the hole. He's not afraid of any shot blocker, any big body. He's going to the hole. Defensively, he'll start sticking there and try to take the ball, pass the lane or on ball. Getting a little old.
Yeah.
For me, and they have and who's the second year player from Golden State, the 6'2" guard.
None.
Kendrick Nunn.
Nunn's not a starting point guard for me. I like him off the bench. You know, when things break down, you don't have to have like a structured offense. I think Nunn's a great player. He should play a lot of minutes. I don't think he should start. Kira develops. He's fast. He's fast. Plays offense, plays defense, decent size height, decent size length. Go there, get under the tutelage of Jimmy. Let's go.
Jimmy likes that.
I think he has a greater potential than most of these guys. Because of his quickness. I think you can't teach height, can't teach speed, but first step in the NBA is huge. I think Kira has great first step. He has great open court speed.
Ooh, Bears just traded up to 155. Sorry about that. But
155.
with the Kira thing, hey, we didn't have a pick for a long time. With the one thing with Kira though, the thing that I love about him too, he just turned 19, so he's a very, very young sophomore. So not only are you getting all that stuff where you talk about offense, defense, you're learning under Jimmy Butler. You're also getting a super young guy. I think he's a great pick. Reggie Perry, what do you think about Reggie from Mississippi State?
Reggie. Yes. So he's one of my personal favorites because I think he offers some versatility. He's a big guy. For me, there's 3 big boys in this draft. Well, 4. Vernon Carey's the obvious big boy. Reggie Perry's a big boy. Isaiah Stewart's a big boy. And our boy, Patrick Williams, is a big boy at the wing. 3. I think Perry is a playmaker. He's one of those bigs who can stand the key. He can, watch the cuts, watch, the offense move around and make the right pass, right time. And then he's big enough to be under and he goes in there and tries to get some rebounds. I think that because he's a playmaker, he's smart. He can give you other things in the offense. I think that for the Thunder, I haven't gone to the Thunder. I'm a huge, help me out now. What's my Italian guy?
Leandro Balmaro?
No, the guy who plays for the Thunder. Came
Danilo Gallinari.
Danilo. I'm a Gallinari fan. Huge Gallinari fan. Could be a contract thing, but there's depth. I think that behind Gallinari, they had my boy from last year. I need to take some of those memory pills. who's the New Balance? The New Balance intern.
Baisley.
Yeah, Darius.
Baisley. Yeah, Darius Baisley. Basley, I think it's Basley.
Basley.
And also they had one of my favorites, Isaiah Roby, picked up in the trade.
Yeah.
I think that Perry's a little bigger than those guys. And then they may want that Vassell to play a little bit of the wings, especially when they play those like power small forwards coming out of the West. Perry has a little bit of a 3-point shot. I think, he just versatility.
I've got it.
Reach. You got me, Sean.
I've got to ask, while you're watching Reggie Perry, were you not interested in Woodard at all? Because
no, see, I mentioned this a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it for the purpose of Robert Woodard.
Oh, right.
And Reggie Perry stuck out, yeah.
Just like it's kind of a small thing. So I was watching Iowa State last year and told you guys watching about
Taylor Horton-Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't high on Halliburton, but I knew who Marial Shayok was, who the Sixers picked up. So Shayok, he didn't have a high percentage, but some players, like when the first or second option breaks down the offense, they have like these ISO players or these last second shooters. They were kept giving the ball to Shayok. He wasn't necessarily knocking them down, but the fact that when it became urgent, they were passing to Shayok, and you have Tucker on the floor. I'm like, all right. He looked a little bigger. I thought Shaq was 6'8" guy. It's because he has some long arms. But sometimes you see a diamond in the rough when you focus on a particular player. I mean, one secret I gave this up before, but I'll repeat it again. If you want to find some diamonds, what you do, you look at the upset. If Duke gets upset or Kentucky gets upset, you watch those games, you see who on the other team is good, and those are your diamond roughs. Then they end up on draft boards. They're not always on the early draft boards, but sometimes they can become late in the season, and it's a steal for it.
Shit. You know who's hitting big shots against Michigan State and Indiana and all these teams? It's Ayo Dosunmu. That's your guy right there. There's your gem. Final question.
No, here's another cheat. Maybe I shouldn't give all these secrets because you guys are gonna have a lot of competition with podcasts. But here's the other one. You take the top 100 from high school. Now, there's only Kentucky, there's always Duke and there's always Kansas. But these dudes go elsewhere. That's how I found Vassell. That's how I found Ayo. Take the top 100. These guys go elsewhere. You still got to follow them.
And you got to check year over year, too, because that's one of the things, like, the guys who don't necessarily hit the ground running year one. Who? I mean, I'm like Dotson, like someone who had a bad first year in college. And then this year, I think he bounced back really well, runs the pick and roll excellently.
Dotson fan.
John might not be a fan, but that doesn't mean he's not a good player in college.
Was because of the point guard depth.
Yeah. So it's just like someone like him. Like I still hope that Quentin Grimes would turn the corner. Yes. He is not yet, but I'm not giving up on him. I think there's still hope for him as a player. He had great physicals. But yeah, that's pretty much. I do very much similar things, John. I go back, the last couple of years. Who missed out of the top 100? Who's still in college? How are they progressing? Kind of a thing.
So you're trying to hold the secrets, Dave. Not cool.
You gotta educate the people. Look, you gotta educate me in the draft. That's kind of my thing.
I thought you were a Euro guy. So we're looking at a Euro.
Wings and Euros. That's Dave. Wings and
Euros.
I'm
all over the place.
All right, John, final question. Yeah, final question here. We'll end on some positivity. Give me your favorite second round guy. If you had one pick in the second round, you got a pick of all the guys that weren't in your first round. Who is the guy you are taking for your Philadelphia 76ers? Who is the second round guy that will stand out the most at the end of this draft?
Well, we have two hot picks.
It's true.
Answer for both picks.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Give me your two favorite second rounders.
Thank you. Well, you guys were on with Jake last week or about 10 days ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he broke down the Sixers. Sixers need shooting. There are all these mocks out here who have all these players who BPAs. They have like a bunch of players selected for the Sixers. None of them are shooters. I don't know why those mocks are. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I have them taking a shooter in the first round. And for me, I need another shooter. So I have them taking Killian Tilly out of Gonzaga. I think this, for me, I love my guys. And I think we're guard heavy. Even though people like, oh, these guys have some potential, they're not productive yet, you still can draft at the guard position. No. Because Matisse Thybulle needs 36 minutes. I'm liking my guy. Is this answer getting too long for you there, Sean? Should I wrap it up?
No, take your time. Take your time,
Okay.
man.
Sean's like, I'm just relaxing on the couch.
We got no break. I'm just relaxing, listening to you, man.
Okay. So I think the guard depth and for me, I like the new trades. I like Alec Burks and was it Tim Hardaway the third we have? Oh, Glenn Robinson. All those like these kids of players in the past. I get confused. Larry Nance. Yeah. But I think they should retain Alec Burks. I love Shake Milton, so I don't think we really need I think definitely one of these. We should get one of these point guards out of the second round, but not right here. So for me, I need. Oh my God, I hate when they show highlights of teams dominating Pitt. They're like quarterback drops back and then like he's sacked and like showing like the pass rush. Pick another game. He had probably 10 sacks that year. Pick nine of those other shots. But anyway, Pitt sucks because we only have one draft pick this year. But anyway, where was I? Tilly. I'm taking Tilly because he's a shooter as a big, and he also he's one of those. I love Boris Diaw. I love bigs who can pass. Period. Yep. That's great basketball for me. So I like Tilly because he can do not necessarily a playmaker, but he can move the ball and have motion offense. I think bigs they slow you down when they can't run and help you in a motion offense. But I think bigs who can, great, especially have some shooters and some guards who know how to cut, which is like the most underrated skill that's not developed in NBA, cutting. Okay, watch some Reggie Miller tapes. Watch some. What's my man from Connecticut out of Pennsylvania? I don't know.
Connecticut.
We won't forget it. Went for the Pistons. We won't forget.
Oh, Rip Hamilton.
Yes, Rip Hamilton, second best cutter ever in NBA. And here's my pick. This is the part that makes it interesting. My second pick is Maker, Don Maker's brother or cousin. I'm not sure what it is. So here we go. Got your shooters who stand out there in the 3-point line. Hopefully my guy Joel Embiid will go down in the paint where he needs to be. We'll pass in, he pass it out. They pick their poison. They're going to go get the dunk or the layup with Joel, or a three-point shot goes up, one or the other. Here's like my guy Ben Simmons. We all know Ben does not want to shoot a 3-point this year. Eventually he will. When he does, it's over. Might as well not have an NBA season 6 or 7 times. Period.
Sure.
He looks decent doing it too.
He looks better.
He does.
You probably remember
why he's not shooting more.
He looks better. It's still the opposite hand. He shoots free throws. Marco Foots look great, but anyway, get back to it. When Joel sits, what do you want to do? When you have Ben Simmons, you want to run. Mm-hmm. So for me, I want a big who can outrun anybody. So I'm taking Maker. If we get Pukevsky, he gains 40 pounds, that'd probably be the ideal pick. Yeah. I have him pass and go with Jordan Noor, but give me Maker. Give me something that is going to create disadvantage to your team.
I'm surprised
now,
after.
I'm sorry.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't go after the guy you spoke so highly of earlier in Peyton Pritchard for that to run that second unit.
No, I got Pritchard gone already.
Oh, okay.
I got him to the Wolves at the 4th pick in the second round.
Oh, okay.
Because the Wolves, they take a wing and Edwards, and they still need some point guard help.
True.
And I think they had one in the middle of the second round. Middle of the first round, they passed on again. Maybe not. But they need some point guard. And I like Pritchard.
Well, and
I don't
Maker's
think he's a starter, but go ahead.
Yeah, Maker's interesting too, just because he's 6'11", he's unlike Thon and Mator. He's 6'11", 235. So he's got some size to him already, unlike Thon, who came in just like an absolute stick. Which a very interesting pick. High potential with that kid.
And there's also, I mean, we're in a lockout, so it's like, what do you think he's doing right now? No, seriously. For me, what do you think? Whatever we think the Ball brothers are doing. What do you think McDaniels brothers are doing?
Yeah.
The kid he's getting the ins and outs of the NBA from the older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Maker. It's on tape. They say they're going to the gym. They could be doing whatever. But for me, I like the younger brothers because they get the insight that they can't get from anybody else, from their older brother. If they have talent, I mean, they're screwed. Like like Jones. He's I don't know what his brother could teach him, but they're doing something.
I love it, John. I mean, I don't think we picked apart that mock. I think you had a really good mock. Some interesting stuff for sure. Halliburton was lower than we typically saw, but I think you backed it up well. So great job on your mock. It was absolutely fun. I don't know how long it was, and I don't really care. It was a good time.
I just got one more problem. One main problem with it.
Then we'll end it.
No Cassius Winston at all. Unless I'm missing something, and maybe it's because Mannion and Trey Jones fell. Like, that is the way that you talked about Pritchard. I love Cassius Winston. A little bit of Cassius. Can John not hear us no more?
Uh-oh.
Can John not hear us now?
We lose him?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
He did one of these, so I don't know if he can hear us.
He got afraid of your Cassius Winston.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Okay.
I had a call come in.
Oh. I was like, oh no, did we lose? But Cassius Winston. No,
yeah, we thought you got afraid of talking about Cassius Winston.
Because he's the guy like me where, like, you talked about earlier, it's like, you watch this guy and it's like you've been watching him for, 4 years at Michigan State? Mm-hmm. I know Miles.
And I like Michigan State.
Miles Bridges went back and he shouldn't have went back. But, like, Cassius to me, it's like, he is the point guard in the second round that, like, if I need one in the second, he's the one I'm going with.
But for me, I have Pritchard over him. Mm-hmm. So Pritchard comes in, gives more G.
Yep.
DeSumo, if you need a point guard, or if say you have an old point guard or somebody's injury prone, I'd go with Cassius. You know, somebody played 20, 24 minutes, but my point guard is playing 16 minutes. I want the energy that Pritchard brings. I got Pritchard going somewhere. Jones, I could see Winston being taken before Jones. In my second round, I have Jones on the Grizzlies. I can see Winston.
Yeah, I mean, I think Grizzlies is a good fit though for Trey Jones.
Well, that's the other idea I had for this podcast is the second round.
Talent.
Second round point guards.
Second round point guards. The ratings of them or the order.
Well, John, it seems like next month we're gonna have you on to talk about second round point guards because we somehow.
It's not like we're going anywhere, right?
There's no basketball for the rest of the spring.
Exactly. And if this gets pushed, if the draft gets pushed back to August, we still got 3 more months to talk about this stuff. So, John, this was an absolute blast. We're gonna have you on next month to talk about second round point guards because somehow after all of this, we still didn't get to all your picks. John, we could talk to you for like 3 hours. This has been a blast. I'm glad we got to fix out all the technical difficulties. If you want to be like John,
trying to get on the laptop.
Hey, Dave does IT and can barely figure out the Discord app. I blame Discord more than I blame you. You're all good, man.
I need Dave's direct number so I give him a call.
If you want to be like John, check out patreon.com.
Dave, you got a little bit of thing going on there.
I'm working on it.
Look at you. Yeah, last time we were all clean.
If you want to be like John, check out patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast. John, we can't thank you enough. It's always
come on and join us. Give up the $1, $5, $10. Become a patron. These guys are cool. Great getting on. Get on Discord. Is worth the money.
John's the best.
Stimulus check.
You're the best, bud. Thank you so much.